13. If you could go back in time and kill Hitler/Stalin as babies so they will never kill the millions in the future, would you do it if time travel was possible?
I don't know. I feel compelled to kill them in order to save the millions of lives they were directly responsible for ending. But I was watching the Amazing Atheist video in response, and he made a good point. There's a possibility that a more competent personality could take their place and change history for the worse. Everyone would still die, and even more would die. Hitler had to get his ideology from somewhere after all, and there were many people in his government who were full collaborators in his deeds, not just simple followers. I feel compelled to do something, but TJ had a point, and for now, I don't know what I would do.
14. Why is stem cell research so important?
Not only could stem cell research possibly lead to cures for countless diseases and medical conditions, we might even find a way to flash clone severely damaged organs. And the stem cell's ability to change into the new type of cell required for an organ is a very important part of that. This ability to clone a patient's own organ and replace it quickly would revolutionize medicine. No longer would a patient with a failing heart have to qualify for a wait list, hope they reach the top of that wait list in time, and pray that their body doesn't reject the new organ. Instead, their failing heart could be simply replaced with another almost exact copy. Almost, because it would of course be healthier and not on the verge of collapse. As for the use of embryonic stem cells, I have no problem with using aborted fetuses in the search for saving countless lives in the future. The mother of an aborted fetus has already made her choice. Why not turn a tragedy of the present into something that could save even more lives in the future?
15. Is abortion evil?
It is a regrettable circumstance, and I would consider an abortion made purely for convenience and to avoid the consequence of abject irresponsibility to be highly detestable. But I am equally opposed to the legislation of morality. I believe abortion should be the prospective mother's choice, but I would still advise her against it except in cases of rape or the mother's life is threatened. And I should emphasize mother's life. I know many pro-choice advocates keep saying mother's health, and many of them in fact mean the life of the mother. And so I will use this language in case of the life of the mother, not just health.
16. What would the circumstances need to be for you to approve of torture as an individual?
No circumstances would excuse the use of torture. And to directly address the current political controversy, I would submit that torture is a tool for revenge, not for intelligence gathering. It is a weapon of tyranny not fit for a free country, even in its own defense. I don't think torturing terrorists to try and find out where Osama bin Laden is, or any other of their activities, is justified. However, if one day we do catch Osama bin Laden, and he is tortured just for the hell of it, I won't be weeping for him.
17. Should we try to save animals from going extinct?
If we, as humankind, are carelessly responsible for their endangerment, we should take steps to save them. But we should not set out to save every single endangered species. Not every species which goes extinct is man's fault. In fact, 99% of all life on Earth was dead before we evolved, let alone developed the level of technology to eradicate at the level we can. We should not feel a deep religious guilt for what we might observe in the course of natural selection. But if we're directly responsible for, say, overhunting a particular species, or in the process of building our great cities and our civilization have eradicated somebody else's habitat, yes, we should do what we can to save that species.
18. Do you approve of capital punishment? Explain.
I think the penal system should first quarantine convicted criminals away from society. Secondly, the system should seek to rehabilitate these criminals into good citizens, better able to take advantage of legal opportunities in the marketplace and in society. But for those few who might prove to be beyond rehabilitation, then they should be permanently imprisoned, away from society. I don't condone the death penalty, rather a lifetime to contemplate their actions. This is the only life we have, and there is no afterlife. Death is too good for them. But that's my opinion.
19. Do you believe in aliens, ghosts, spirits, souls, any supernatural forces?
First, I would think aliens are a distinct possibility. That is, extraterrestrials, intelligent life on other planets, and I don't consider them to be part of the supernatural. UFO sightings, on the other hand, I think are, and I don't really buy into them. I have not seen enough evidence of their existence to believe in particular types like the Greys and flying saucers. I think most UFO sightings are simple matters of misidentification made by underinformed people. And by underinformed people, I don't mean that they can't be intelligent or that they're not highly intelligent. I think that a genius who has the best education the world can offer could still see a UFO, and it would still be a matter of misidentification. As for the rest of what might be considered the supernatural, I think they are highly unlikely. Spirits, ghosts, the Akashic record, and even personal souls, myself included, are not supported by empirical evidence, and their most popular proponents are often eventually demonstrated to be charlatans. By that I mean not everyone was demonstrated to be a charlatan before their death, nor has everyone out there now been publicly demonstrated to be a charlatan, but you can bet these people avoid the James Randys of the world.
20. Would you sacrifice yourself for a loved one with the chance you may end up in hell for being atheist?
Yes. In fact, I think I'm more likely to lay down my life in defense of loved ones because I'm an atheist. I don't fear hell because I don't believe in it, and it probably won't cross my mind in the heat of the moment.
21. Explain in detail the process of death.
Well, I don't have my dad's medical books on hand because he lives in another town presently, but as soon as I get the names, I'll refer you to them. There are many ways in which the process of death can be set in motion. The process can be started at almost any stage depending on the cause. Essentially, a series of organ failures lead to the inevitable failure of the brain. The human body, and more importantly the person's consciousness, has been shown to survive the failure of every organ except the brain. Even though the brain itself cannot function long after loss of other vital organs, as brain activity ends, so ends the human life. You can survive for a little while without a heart. You can survive for a little while without a liver. You can survive very long without your genitalia, as important as we find them. But without your brain, you drop dead instantly.
22. And this is a tricky one. Have you ever been dead?
I don't think so. But Mark Twain once said something interesting. I think it was, "Why should I fear death? For I was dead throughout all of time before I was born, and it doesn't seem to have hurt me all that much." At least I think that's what he said. I, on the other hand, I don't think I was dead before I was born, and I haven't had any near-death experiences either. So no, I don't think I have ever been dead.